So today also there's a conjunction between the sun, the light, the moon, that image I have of myself, Mercury, how I'm going to express it, and Chiron, that vulnerability that I have where I feel that I'm not being seen and I cannot express or I cannot be identified as something that can actually bring the image of courage within me. So Lao Zi, the great sage from ancient China, said that the best fighter is never angry because one believes in oneself. One doesn't try to convince others because one is content with oneself. One doesn't need others' approval because one accepts oneself. The whole world accepts him or her. So this is very powerful because when we're trying to control a situation, we're yielding with some forces, trying to hold the grip, trying to suppress something in order to be able to manage something else. So there's always this energy that is pushing or pulling. So it is really about being able to manage the situation, manage the resources, manage the control. So by knowing how to be of courage, the use of force in order to control may lead to chaos, especially if the wounded healer is meeting the sun, the moon, and Mercury. Because previous hurts of not feeling seen or not being able to manage a situation or having this memory of not being appreciated with our own light by how we were expressing ourselves, it can lead to snapping, slapping, or breaking things up. So there's a call for discernment where one can determine to bite through to make distinctions. So instead of like biting against and destroying, you just like hold the grip and see with discernment what it is at stake. You can see, okay, is this a life and death situation? Maybe I can make a strategy. First, the steps are you make an observation about the emotion. You're feeling the anger, you're feeling the stress, you're feeling the constraint, and then you become aware, you become detached from it for a second, and then you observe how this energy is coming through the body. So you make space for it. You decide with discernment whether it's a life or death situation, and it's very primal. So you will know, your body will let you know immediately if you're really against something that is a real threat or is all in your mind, as usual. So the strategy is to informing what's going to happen, because if control takes over, then weakness is going to happen, and then from there on, only chaos can emerge. So control is based on fear of losing the grip. The authority can emerge when one is accepting its own responsibility. So, the word authorities also from authentic. It also means the root of it from Greek "authos" means the self. So it is something that you gotta do by yourself. You cannot let somebody give you authority. You don't force people. You are powerful when you have already integrated and surrendered to your own inner forces as opposed to the ones outside first. So this taking responsibility can lead to having a lot of bravery, courage. Courage comes from the heart. So when you feel connected to what it is, something that it is really in you, you don't have to claim it because you are it. You don't have to fight for it. You don't have to scream it. You don't have to slap anybody. You can just be because you have already accepted that part of yourself. So you don't have to go and claim it. It is also about surrendering to the polarity of what's happening because you might feel that you're being pushed or you're being pulled. And this acceptance and surrender can lead to communion. And communion means integration, community. So you're there, you can be supportive of that image or that situation, and that can lead to integration. It's also the possibility to be able to gain respect by keeping peace. We're used to in society right now to yield the power by taking over the resources of others, or the land of others, or not allowing other people to be free. So we feel that this is authority, but it is not really, because it's not coming from an acceptance, but a force from outside. The symbol of losing teeth has the primitive meaning of losing one's grip, because under primitive circumstances and in the animal kingdom, the teeth and mouth are gripping organ. If one loses teeth, one loses the grip on something. Now, this can mean a loss of self-control, etc. The English word of grip is contained in the German word Begriff, conception or notion. The Latin word conceptio means the same. For instance, catching hold of something, having a grip of something. This was written by Carl Jung. It's talking about the possibility of looking for an opportunity with this energy that we have, of initiating something, allowing the energy to move forward in ways that it can be constructive and not destructive. If there's something that you're feeling that is very constrained, tend to it, look at it, allow this energy to become the path that you take in order to surrender to something that is quite incredible. Because once you have authority on yourself, you have sovereignty, and with that sovereignty you have the great possibility to making the best decisions in any specific moment, where you don't have to take over, you don't have to kill somebody, you just have to stand and be. Take a deep breath. There's like a lot going on right now, but you know what, every day is a new day to start anew. Every day is like the new moon in Aries. Today, also with the Chiron and Mercury, where we can actually hold very tight and look at what is causing us feel that we're not deserving of the light, or we're not courageous enough, because the courage lies inside of ourselves, just in the fact that we are going to look at it, tend to it, and nurture it by surrender to it. And when you surrender to it, you're not losing control. You're actually gaining a full sense of authority towards what it is important in the I am. I am.